So good morning, guys. Today I am going to take another lecture. It will be related to degree of freedom. So here I will discuss about degree of freedom. So degree of freedom. So guys, we know that it is basically you can say the total number of independent variables required to describe completely the state of the motion of a body are called its degree of freedom. Okay, so remember, the total number of independent variable, okay, required to describe completely the state of the motion of a body are called degree of freedom. If I say in Hindi, किसी बॉडी के स्टेट ऑफ मोशन को डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए जितने इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल की ज़रूरत होती है उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम. For example, if I will take some example for explaining this one. So suppose an ant is moving in a particular direction. Suppose there is some insect, जिसे आप हिंदी में चींटी बोलते हैं. आप मान लीजिए कि ये चींटी जो है इस वायर पर इस डायरेक्शन में मूव कर रही है, एंड इफ दिस एक्सिस इज अलोंग x, so the degree of freedom for this ant, since that ant is moving along x axis, so the degree of freedom will be equal to 1. If I take another example, suppose any mosquito is flying in a particular plane. Suppose this is x and this is y, and if there is any insect flying in a particular plane, so to describe this point we need two coordinate. So independent variable required to describe the state, the motion of the body. So here we need two coordinate, x and y. That's why in this case the degree of freedom will be equal to 2. Okay. So this degree of freedom we can divide into the three part. So first part, it will be wait a minute. This degree of freedom comes in three category. So first category is monoatomic molecules. So in monoatomic molecule the degree of freedom will be equal to 3, and this 3 it will be all are translational. So suppose here if I take x, y and z, so if there is any particle, either it is moving in x direction or at a time it will move in a particular one direction, either x or y or z. That's why either it will translate this direction or this direction or this direction. Therefore the degree of freedom will be 3, and all are translational. Either it will move in this direction or this direction or this direction. That's why in this part there will be only the translational motion. So remember, in the case of monoatomic, In the case of monoatomic, it will be, the degree of freedom will be 3. So now if I take a diatomic molecule, but I forget to tell, in monatomic case molecule, the example will be like helium, neon, this kind of molecule. So remember. So now I am going to discuss about diatomic molecule. Diatomic molecule. So in diatomic molecule, it will be kind of dumbbell kind of diatomic molecule will look like dumbbells in dumbbell shape. For example of diatomic molecule is HCl or Cl2 or O2. This kind of molecule comes under the category of, so it will be kind of like this, HCl, it will be connected like this in the dumbbell shape, or Cl, it will be connected like this, oxygen. So it will be kind of in dumbbell kind of shape. So that's why here this kind of example will come under the category of the diatomic molecule. Okay. So it will be basically it will be in dumbbell shape. So in this case, what we will do, see here, this is X, this is Y, and this is Z. Suppose I said it will be in kind of dumbbell shape. So suppose it is like this kind of in dumbbell shape. So either it will move in X direction, or either it can move in Y direction, or it can move in Z direction. Okay. So in this way there will be 3 translational degree of freedom in this case. But this molecule also rotate either along Y axis, either along this axis. So in this case, so when it will move along this one, either it will move along this one. So in this case we have 2 rotational motion about an axis, that the dumbbell shape will move in 2 planes. So that's why there will be 2 rotational motion. Okay. So overall the degree of freedom in diatomic molecule will be 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. But in the case of triatomic molecule, so in the case of triatomic molecule, the triatomic molecule it will in this case example will be like H2S, SO2. This kind of molecules come under the category of triatomic molecules. So in this case what will happen, so X, Y, and this is Z. Okay. So if suppose this is the molecule here and here, okay, and it is rotating along this axis. So in this case there will be 3 translational motion plus 3 rotational motion around axis. There are required 3 plane, this one 3 plane, yeah, X, Y, Z. So that's why in this case there will be 3 rotational motion around this axis. So that's why in this case the degree of freedom will be equal to 6. So now guys, remember, in the case of monoatomic gas, the degree of freedom will be equal to 3, and in the case of diatomic it will be 5, Y5, 3 translational and 2 rotational, and in the case of triatomic molecule there will be 3 translational and 3 rotational. That's why in this case the total degree of freedom will be equal to 6. So remember, monatomic gas 3, diatomic gas, it will be equal to 5, and triatomic gas it will be equal to 6. So this thing you guys should keep in the mind. Now I am going to discuss the wait a minute, since my whiteboard is very small, so now I am going to discuss about the Maxwell law of Maxwell law of equipartition of energy. So that part I am going to discuss. So guys, we know that according to the kinetic theory, according to the kinetic theory of the gases, the mean kinetic energy of a gas molecule at temperature T is given by what? Remember, 1 by 2 mc square will be equal to 3 by 2 kT. So remember, I think you guys must recall, according to the kinetic theory of the gases, the mean kinetic energy of the gas molecule at temperature T is given by half mc square is equal to 3 by 2 kT. So we know that this part, so it will be equal to 1 by 2 mc square is equal to 3 by 2 kT, where symbols are their usual meaning. So here as x, y and z, in our case here x, y and z all are equivalent. The mean square velocity along 3 axes will be also equal. So that I wanted to say that here this is the velocity, so that velocity c square will be equal to u square, v square and w square. Here I am assuming u is the velocity along x axis, v is the velocity along y axis and z is the velocity w is the velocity along z axis. So here I am saying x, y and z, all three axes are equivalent. So mean square velocity along 3 axes will be equal. That here I wanted to say that u square will be equal to v square will be equal to w square. So since axes are equal, this means that from this equation here it will be equal to c square will be equal to u square plus u square plus u square, because all are equal, so every place I am putting u square. So here it will be equal to 3u square, or u square is equal to 1 by 3 c square, and it must be equal to, from here it must be equal to v square is equal to w square. Okay, so if now here, okay, so that part I am going to put here. So it will be equal to now I am going to take this one. This is equation number 8. So what will be equal to c? So if I will put this one, c square is equal to here u square plus here v square plus here w square. So if I will put here 1 by 2 m everywhere, so it will be equal to, from this equation what it will be, since u square is equal to w square plus w, then it will be equal to 3 by 2 m u square, and it will be equal to 1 by 2 m c square. Okay, and 1 by 2 m c square is equal to 3 by 2 kT, so it will be equal to 3 by 2 kT. Okay, so this simply means that, okay, so I think bottom part is not visible here. Okay, so just a minute, I am going to put here again. Till here it is visible, yes, yes, yes. So okay, so from here it will be equal to 1 by 2 mc square will be equal to 3 by 2 mu square. Why? Because u square is equal to v square plus w square. Everywhere I will put u square plus u square and you will add, it will be equal to 3 by 2 mu square, and it was equal to 3 by 2 kt. Okay. So now if you take this equation, then from here it will come 1 by 2 mu square is equal to 1 by 2 kt. Okay, or chunki u square is also equal to v square, then it will be equal to mv square is equal to 1 by 2 kt, or 1 by 2 mw square. Why? Because u square is also equal to w square, then it will be equal to 1 by 2 kt. Okay, so so here we derived this one Maxwell equation. Therefore, on this basis we can say that from this expression, if you see, half m u square is equal to half kt, therefore you can say that the average kinetic energy associated with each degree of freedom, average kinetic energy associated with each degree of freedom will be equal to half kt. Why I am saying average kinetic energy associated with each degree of freedom? Because this is velocity along x-axis, this is along y-axis, and this is along z-axis. The average kinetic energy associated with each degree of freedom must be equal to half kt. Thus, you can say that the energy associated with each degree of freedom is how much? Half kt. Energy associated with each degree of freedom will be equal to half kt. Now guys, I am going to derive another formula. Here I am going to derive another formula. So our another formula is relation between molar specific heat and degree of freedom. Relation between molar specific heats and degree of freedom. Oh, so I think this is not visible again. So okay, I will write again here. So relation between molar specific heats and degree of freedom, that we have to derive. So guys, in this case, you know that if we take an ideal gas, if we take an ideal gas and there is no force of attraction between the molecule. So as we know that in ideal case बिटवीन दो मॉलिक्यूल के बीच में कोई फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन नहीं होता है, इसलिए जो इसकी इंटरनल एनर्जी होगी, इंटरनल एनर्जी इनके लेट्स से हियर आई एम अज्यूमिंग हियर U, then the internal energy U of the gas is wholly equal to kinetic energy, बिकॉज इसमें आइडियल गैस के केस में मॉलिक्यूल के बीच में ऐसा हम लोग मानते हैं कि इसमें कोई जो है फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन नहीं होता है, इसलिए जो इसकी टोटल गैस की जो टोटल इंटरनल एनर्जी होगी यही इसकी जो होगी काइनेटिक एनर्जी हो जाएगी। इफ़ यदि यहाँ पर हम एज्यूम कर लें F इज़ द नंबर ऑफ द डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम, यदि माने कि F हमारा जो है नंबर ऑफ द डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम है, देन अकॉर्डिंग टू द लॉ ऑफ इक्विपार्टीशन एनर्जी, then according to Maxwell's law of equipartition energy, the average energy per molecule क्या होगा, it will be equal to half kT into F क्या होगा, डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम। हाँ, तो ये जो है हमारा यही हमारी क्या हो जाएगी, एवरेज एनर्जी हो जाएगी, एवरेज एनर्जी ऑफ मॉलिक्यूल हो जाएगा, और यही एनर्जी कितने की होगी, हाफ kT, क्योंकि अभी हम पीछे हम लोग डिराइव कर चुके हैं कि जो इसकी एनर्जी होगी वो हाफ kT होती है, और करिस्पॉन्डिंग टू ईच डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम किया जाएगा, तो था वो 1/2 kT, एंड इफ वी एज्यूम F is the degree of the freedom, then average energy per molecule हो जाएगा 1/2 kT into F। So यहाँ पर हम लिखेंगे the average energy per molecule, it will be equal to half kT into F, okay। यदि हम मान लें, यहाँ पे चलिए टोटल एनर्जी पर ग्राम मॉलिक्यूल निकालना हो, देन इट विल बी इक्वल टू 1/2 kT इंटू F, और हम n से मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे, जहाँ पर n क्या है, एवोगाड्रो नंबर है, देन इट विल बी इक्वल टू U will be equal to 1/2, और A, K और N, R will be equal to Kn, therefore it will be equal to half FRT। ये हो गया आपका टोटल एनर्जी पर ग्राम मॉलिक्यूल, दिस इज द टोटल एनर्जी पर ग्राम मॉलिक्यूल, ओके, इट विल बी इक्वल टू 1/2 FRT। अब नाउ वी विल कैलकुलेट द मोलर स्पेसिफिक हीट, क्या वी विल कैलकुलेट मोलर स्पेसिफिक हीट ऑफ अ गैस एट कांस्टेंट वॉल्यूम V, it will be equal to, by definition, CV will be equal to du/dt, okay, and it will be, now you are going to differentiate this one with respect to t, then it will be equal to 1/2 FR। चूंकि we know that from the Mays formula Cp minus Cv is equal to R, this implies Cp is equal to Cv plus R, and you are going to put this Cv here, then it will be equal to, and take R common, it will be equal to 1 plus F/2, and the ratio of two specific heat, and it is denoted by gamma, then this gamma will be equal to Cp divided by Cv, and Cp की वैल्यू हम लोग कैलकुलेट कर लिए हैं यहाँ पे R ब्रैकेट में 1 plus F/2, एंड डिवाइडेड बाई Cv की वैल्यू कैलकुलेट किए हैं वहाँ पर 1/2 या by R, okay। So guys, from here so here what we got, now we got gamma is equal to, it will be equal to 1 plus 2/f, gamma is equal to 1 plus 2/f, this is the relation between this is 2 molar specific heat ratio gamma and degree of freedom F. Okay. Now we will see in the case of monoatomic, diatomic and triatomic case. In the case of monoatomic, in the case of monoatomic, degree of freedom F will be equal to 3. Therefore, CV in previous derivation I derived CV, CP and gamma. So just we have to put the value of F in that equation, CV and CP you will get, and also you put here the value of F here, then you will get the gamma. So by putting that value we got this CV is equal to 3 by 2 R, CP is equal to 5 by 2 R and gamma will be equal to 5 by 3. Here 3, so 3 plus 2 is equal to 5 by 3. It will be equal to 1.67. In the case of diatomic, so CV will be equal to 5. Why? Because in this case F is equal to 5. So it will be equal to 5 by 2 R, CP will be equal to 7 by 2 R and gamma will be equal to 7 by 5. It will be equal to 1.4. In the similar case, triatomic. In the case of triatomic, what will happen? F is equal to 6. So CV will be equal to 3R, CP will be equal to 4R and gamma will be equal to 8 by 6 is equal to 1.33. Whatever the value here I have calculated for in the case of monoatomic, diatomic and triatomic. So here you see that it always remember this one. In the case of monoatomic, gamma is equal to 1.67. In the case of diatomic it is 1.44. In the case of triatomic it is 1.33. Make sure this value is only for the room temperature. If anyone wants to go at lower temperature, I mean lower temperature or higher temperature, then this gamma can deviate. So this is just for room temperature. Okay. So if anyone is asking any problem, so you guys make sure this value is only for the room temperature. If anyone is asking higher temperature or lower temperature, then they will be given the value of gamma, CP, CV, everything. It will be already given. Okay. So now I am going to derive another formula, and I think you guys already read about this one. So here adiabatic expansion of an ideal gas. Here I am going to derive the adiabatic expansion of an ideal gas. So guys, here what we are going to do in the case of adiabatic expansion, we consider 1 mole. Here we are going to consider 1 mole of an ideal gas, okay, undergoing an adiabatic change in its state. Okay, so remember here I am considering 1 mole of an ideal gas which is undergoing an adiabatic change in its state. And we know that in adiabatic process neither the heat is allowed to enter nor leave to the system. Remember, in the case of adiabatic expansion, neither heat will come in nor heat will go out. So delta Q, the change in the heat, will be equal to 0. Okay. So for an ideal gas, the internal energy U, and we know that for an ideal gas, the internal energy U depends only on the temperature. We know that this part. Okay. By knowing this, we are going to derive here du. Du, we know that, as I said, internal energy for ideal gas, internal energy U depends only on the temperature. So du is equal to Cv into dt. Okay. And from the first law of thermodynamics, first law of thermodynamics, delta Q is equal to du plus pdv, and I said for the adiabatic process this part will be equal to 0. This means that this will be equal to du plus pdv. Okay. And we also know that PV is equal to RT. This means that P is equal to RT by V. Okay. So guys, from here du we know and P. So I am going to put this du here and this P here. Then the above equation will be Cv dt plus RT by V into dV is equal to 0. Okay. Now what we can do, we can also do Cv. Now we are going to divide T both sides. Now what will happen? Cv dt by T plus R dV by V is equal to 0. From the Mayer's formula we also know that Cp minus Cv is equal to R. That part I am going to put here. Then it will be equal to Cv dt by T plus Cp minus Cv into dV by V is equal to 0. Okay. So now I need to delete this part. So now we are going to dividing by Cv and putting gamma is equal to Cp by Cv in this equation. Then we get what we will do. Here I said first we will divide by Cv dt plus Cp by Cv minus 1 into dV by V is equal to 0. This means that dt by T plus gamma minus 1 dV by V is equal to 0. Now we are going to integrate. Then it will happen log base E T plus gamma minus 1 log base E into V is equal to 0. Or we can also write log base E T V की power gamma minus 1 is equal to constant. Now we take antilog T V की power gamma is equal to constant. So this is the one equation. And now we know that PV is equal to RT. Okay. So here T will be equal to PV by R. Now you can put this T here, then it will come in the term of PV. So it will be equal to PV की power gamma will be equal to constant
there is also R is constant, and that R will be divided by this side, and it will be again constant. That's why PV power gamma is equal to constant. Now you replace if V right here, V will be equal to RD by P, then your equation will happen, will change in this form. So the form will be equal to P की power gamma minus 1, T की power gamma is equal to constant. So this is the another form of the equation. Okay, so this is the another form of equation. Now guys, I am going to explain the kinetic interpretation of the temperature. So this was your derivation. So now I am going to the next part, kinetic interpretation of the temperature. So the kinetic interpretation of temperature. So guys, in the case of kinetic interpretation of the temperature, here what we will do, consider a system of molecule. Here we are going to consider a system of molecule of monoatomic gas. Then according to the law of Maxwell equipartition, according to the Maxwell law of equipartition energy, your total energy ET will be equal to 1 by 2 kT. Since here I am taking 1 gram molecule of the gas, then it multiply by m, and if total energy and F is the degree of the freedom, then I will also multiply by F. Then it will be the total energy of monoatomic gas according to the law of equipartition energy. This will be your total energy. So it will be equal to, and in the case of monoatomic, F will be equal to 3. Then it will be equal to 3 by 2 NKT. Okay. Now, if I calculate the average energy will be the total energy divided by the N. It will be equal to 3 by 2 kT, and it will be equal to epsilon I, average energy. So your average energy epsilon I will be equal to 3 by 2 kT. This means that average energy epsilon I is directly proportional to the T. Okay. So here, if anyone is asking to write the physical interpretation, so what you will write? So you can say that here this is the average kinetic energy. So the average kinetic energy of the translation per molecule of an ideal gas, of an ideal monoatomic gas, you can say, because here I have taken monoatomic gas. So monoatomic gas in a given temperature, in a given mass m is directly proportional to the absolute temperature of the gas. Okay. So again, listen. The average kinetic energy of the translation per molecule of an ideal monoatomic gas in a given mass is directly proportional to the absolute temperature of the gas. In other words, you can also say the average kinetic energy of the translation of each molecule. The average kinetic energy of the translation of each molecule of a gas is 0. When absolute temperature is 0. Okay. So this is the physical interpretation of the temperature from the kinetic theory. Okay. Now I am also going to add another part. So our another part will be here. Now I am also going to describe the critical constant. Critical constant. What is critical constant? So in this one, first term will be the critical temperature. The critical temperature, and it is denoted by Tc.
So guys, here I am going to explain here about there are few constants, so I need to explain the terminology, what is this critical temperature and other thing. Then later on I will move on the behavior of the gases at high pressure. Okay, so in this part you guys must know what are these parameters. So critical temperature, and it is defined as the maximum temperature. Critical temperature is the maximum temperature at which a gas can be liquefied by the increase of the pressure alone. What? It is the maximum temperature at which a gas can be liquefied by increase of the pressure alone. Above this temperature, above critical temperature, I mean, the gas cannot be liquefied howsoever large the applied may be. Howsoever large the applied may be. Okay. So it is. So again, guys, try to understand. It is defined as the maximum temperature. It is defined as the maximum temperature at which a gas can be liquefied by increasing the pressure alone. The above this temperature, the gas cannot be liquefied. Okay. Now the second term is critical pressure. Critical pressure. Second term is CRI. Critical pressure. Critical pressure, and it is denoted by PC. So critical pressure, in this case the pressure necessary to liquefy a gas at critical temperature. The pressure necessary to liquefy a gas at a critical temperature is called critical pressure. वो नेसेसरी प्रेशर किसी गैस को लिक्विफाई करने के लिए एट क्रिटिकल टेम्परेचर इज कॉल्ड, क्या होगा, वो नेसेसरी प्रेशर किसी क्रिटिकल टेम्परेचर पर जो होता है वो उसको हम बोलते हैं क्रिटिकल प्रेशर. किसी क्रिटिकल टेम्परेचर पर जो प्रेशर ज़रूरत होता है किसी गैस को लिक्विफाई करने के लिए उसको हम बोलेंगे क्रिटिकल प्रेशर. एंड थर्ड टर्म आता है critical volume, and it is denoted by Vc. It is denoted by Vc, and it is the volume which unit mass of a gas occupy at a critical temperature and the critical pressure. क्रिटिकल वॉल्यूम क्या होता है? क्रिटिकल वॉल्यूम वो वॉल्यूम होता है यूनिट मास गैस का जो ऑक्यूपाई करता है एट ए क्रिटिकल टेम्परेचर और क्रिटिकल प्रेशर पर, उसको हम बोलते हैं क्रिटिकल वॉल्यूम. So these three coordinate Tc, Pc and Vc are called critical constant of a gas. Okay. एक टर्म और आएगा, उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं क्रिटिकल पॉइंट. व्हाट इज क्रिटिकल पॉइंट? सो इसको हम लोग कुछ इस हिसाब से डिफाइन करते हैं. इट इज दैट पॉइंट ऑन द आइसोथर्मल फॉर द क्रिटिकल टेम्परेचर एट विच the change of the state from the gaseous state to liquid state takes place under constant volume of Pc and Vc. Remember, it is that point on the isothermal for the critical temperature at which the change of the state from the gaseous state to the liquid state takes place under constant volume of Pc and Vc. Okay, so that is known as critical point. So next term I will explain the behavior of the gases at high pressure. So today guys I am going to stop here. So see you in next lecture.